Good morning, everyone. It's Kimberly again. I just want to give you a quick update. As you can tell, I'm a little hoarse, so I apologize. Had a little cold. My son went to daycare, and of course, as you know, babies in daycares always get sick. So I got sick. The juicing is going really wonderful. Just a little update. My husband and I watched Forks Over Knives. If you haven't watched that documentary before, it's absolutely riveting. It's something I think everyone should watch, especially people that you know, that you love and care about, that are suffering from some kind of disease like diabetes, heart disease, and even cancer. My mother died of cancer at 56 years old, and I didn't want that to be my path. And something happened a couple years after my mom died. So I'm going to title this video The Fat Woman and the Old Man. And this is why. My sister was getting married. My sister Kaylee was getting married. And I was on a path to lose weight. And I had done juicing and raw foods. Lost 45 pounds. Was very excited to get on the plane. Why, you might ask? Because there's seatbelts on the plane. And as a big girl, and anyone who has been big will know and understand this, that sometimes the seatbelt doesn't fit quite right, and you need an extender. And it's the most embarrassing thing to ever have to ask for an extender because you kind of bring attention to yourself, and you're happy because you fit in the seat, but then you're like, damn, that seatbelt didn't fit. And I lost 45 pounds, and I thought for sure that seatbelt is going to clippity clip perfectly. I was very excited about it. So I get on the plane. I swear that sucker. I don't know. Can you make a finger gesture that's small enough? I don't think so. It was that close. I mean, it was just a hair, and I was squeezing that sucker like there was no tomorrow, trying to get that thing to go, and it wouldn't go. And as disappointed as I was, it got worse. I asked for the extender, and the extender was the one that was the belt that was used in the demo. Okay, this is how you buckle your seatbelt, and here it is, fat woman. There you go. Okay, so any person who is overweight will know that that probably was the pinnacle of the most embarrassing of the moments. So I sit down, and I get all comfortable, and I sit next to this lovely woman. I would guess that she was probably 80s, 90s, somewhere around that, and her husband. And I was reading one of my health books, and I was very excited about it. I was reading Penny Shelton's book, which was a very good book. I suggest it. She has, I think, two books out, but her one of her books that I read was, I think it was a detox juicing or something along that lines, but it was a really good book. And Penny Shelton's really great. But at any rate, I'm reading the book, and I'm glancing over to the side because this gentleman, this older gentleman, I'd say he was probably about close to 90, not knocking on it, and he was doing his memoir on a laptop, and I was glancing over and reading some of what he was, writing, and some things didn't really jive, so I kind of figured there was a little something going on. Maybe he was slipping with memory or something like that. So, well, he caught my glance, and he introduced himself as Dr. So-and-so. I won't give out his name. Um, and he said he was a practitioner for 40 some odd years, and he had retired. He was writing his memoirs, and he'd always had this question that he wanted to ask a woman like myself, who had such a beautiful face. That's the story I've been hearing my whole life. Oh, honey, you have such a pretty face. If you just lose the weight, you'd just be so beautiful. As if that's the magic serum. Well, at any rate, he asked me if he could ask me a question. And, I thought, oh great, here it comes. He says, I just kind of wondered why it is that you don't love yourself enough to do something about your weight. And I paused, and I looked at the floor, and I thought, okay, I just lost 45 pounds. This is an old dude who's probably losing his marbles and doesn't know me, so I can't be all hot and bothered and upset with him because he doesn't know the struggle I've gone through. He doesn't know what's happened in my life that has got me to the point where I've had a hard time losing weight. He doesn't know. So I can't, lash out at the poor old dude sitting next to me. So I thanked him for his concern, And I said, thank you, I appreciate it. But I've lost 45 pounds, and I'm very excited, and I was really excited to get on the plane. I'm going to my sister's wedding, and I fit in this nice dress now, and it was 2 sizes smaller than me, and I've made so many strides, and I'm trying to kind of defend my case of, well, I got this, and he is very doubtful that I was doing anything about it at all, and I could tell. He was probably like, yeah, I've heard this before. Every fat person says they got this, and every fat person's going to die. And he was real negative. And I look over at his wife. It was priceless, y'all. She's like, no! You can just tell. Oh my God! Shh, honey! She's freaking out at her husband. It was priceless. It kind of made me chuckle because I felt for the poor woman more, I guess, than I felt for myself. Excuse me. Because she was just like so freaking out. She just felt for me. She just looked at me like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So sorry. And I was like, it's okay. But it got me to thinking about that. And I thought about that for a while. And when I got off the plane, I went in the bathroom and I cried my heart out. It doesn't matter what I do or how I struggle. People are always going to perceive me as a fat girl with a great face. And so I went to my sister's house and I dried my tears and put my makeup back on and tried to get my crap together and go to my sister's house and be happy for her on her wedding day and not be all bummed out and stuff. And I got through the week and I, didn't let anyone know, but I did tell my other sister about it, and she was pretty supportive, and she's like, you're doing great, and, she's always been like the health guru and really into that stuff, and pretty extremist in my opinion, just kind of like what I'm doing. But, and she's always been real tiny, and I've been the other end of the spectrum. So, we get done with my sister's wedding, pictures come out great, I still feel fat, but I'm still on the mission. So, I get on the plane to go home, and I know I'm going to need the extender, and I ask for it, and I get it, and it's, there's nothing big going on. And then we're going to, I could probably subtitle this, the poor fat girl, Everyone's picking on the damn fat woman. But, I sit next to this guy, and he proceeds to tell me in a very short conversation that he's dying of cancer. And I was like, really? Oh my God, the poor guy's dying of cancer, and I tell him about my mom and how she died of cancer, and I'm sharing this little moment. And he says, I gotta tell you something. And he goes, and I'm probably overstepping, but you have such a pretty face. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Here we go again. The girl with the pretty face. Bitch slap. Excuse me. But seriously, there's no other word for that. And I just trying to regroup, and I could feel the tears welling in my eyes. I'm like, okay. I said, well, I tried to stop him. I appreciate your concern. He says, I've learned something. He goes, I'm dying now. He says, I don't have long to live. I just came back from visiting my granddaughter and my other grandson and my daughter, and trying to say my last goodbyes and touring the country and trying to live my last days to the fullest. And I think you should live your life to the fullest because I have no more time left. I'm out of time, I'm out of options, and I'm dying. I'm going to die. And if I learned anything, he says, I learned that you need to just take the bull by the horns and live life and do this and be the most beautiful person you can be and give as much as you can give and live as big as you can live. And he went into this big tangent about you should just get better and live your life. It's great that you're losing weight, but just live your life. And so I was like, okay, thank you for that, and I'll take that to heart, and I'm so sorry about your cancer, and I shared some of the things that I had read in Victoria Botanco's book, and some of the things about that I have read along the way pertaining to cancer, and some of the research has come out that they've tried to squelch about, shrinking down cancer with, regards to nutrition and what we're eating, and he wrote down some of the books that I was telling him about, and that day had come and gone. And it kept eating at me day after day, moment after moment. And I fell off the wagon again because I was so frustrated. I plateaued at about 48 pounds, couldn't lose any more weight, exercising my butt off, doing everything I needed to do with in regards to, the food and the nutrition that I knew of at the time that I knew I could do. But I say all that to say this. I'm living my life to the fullest that I can with it. I'm doing all that I can do. I'm reading books like they're going out of style. I'm planning on to doing an online course at Integrative Nutrition to learn about nutrition and a holistic way of healing and that kind of thing, because I really do feel, bar none, I feel the best I've ever felt doing the juicing and the raw foods. Bar none. Changed my life. I'm going to tell everybody, want to tell the whole world, show them the Forks Over Knives documentary, because literally, I have to say, outside of having a little congestion and whatnot, which is part detox and part a cold I got from my little baby Connor. But I know that this is absolutely the right path. It's made me feel great. I feel at least 10 years younger than I did before. Sex is better. My respiration is better. My blood pressure is better. My everything is better. Everything's better. It is continuing to get better. And my husband is doing now raw food with me as well. And so I'm now juicing in the morning, doing a good sized salad in the afternoon for lunch, and then juicing in the evening, a small juice in the evening, and doing water throughout the day. So it's slowed down weight loss just a little bit because it was like a pound a day, so it's slowing down just a titch, but a titch is better than nothing, and a titch is better than it ever has been. So as long as I'm going in the downward direction, I'm going to keep going with it. But I just wanted to tell you, I'll leave you this because I know this video's gotten a little bit long, but I'll leave you with this. It's never too late to change your life. It's never too late to start over and go, okay, look, I need to reevaluate what I'm doing because it ain't working. And so I kind of have gotten to the point where I believe in bio-individuality, where not every path is for everybody. Not every diet is for everybody, because one thing for one person can be great and the other thing can be a poison. I've met a lot of people with celiac disease and other problems, diseases and heart conditions, and the more I read, the more educated I get about the different things that we need to do for our bodies. But I will say that most everything that I've learned collectively in all the nutrition books and all the diet books I've ever read in my whole life, it all comes down to a plant-based diet. As clean, as unrefined. If you can eat it without cooking it is the best way, without much oils or anything like that, just in its purest form is the best way to go. So, you know what? I would suggest that you guys start there. And join me on my voyage to health, and don't be that girl with a pretty face. Be the girl with a kick-ass attitude who knows that she's going to do it. Be the guy that is going to make sure he's around for his kids and his grandkids and can write his memoirs at 90 years old and not insult the fat girl sitting next to him on the airplane. I'm just saying. But I kind of owe it to those two men, one man at the end of his life and one man who was writing about his life. Kind of shake me up a little bit and let me know that it's time to live mine. The next videos I'm going to do a couple this weekend. I'll probably do a couple recipes that I've been doing and some things I'm doing with my husband. I'm going to go do a book review. I'm going to do a couple this weekend because now I'm well enough to do some videos because I was looking a hot mess. I was in bed for 3 days feeling disgusting. So, and I tell you, my poor kids got 5 teeth coming in and all the disgusting. It was awful. But you know what? Today is about healing and doing. So y'all, let's heal, let's do this, let's feel better, let's get great, let's juice, let's do the raw foods, let's lose weight, and let's have fun. Let's live, people. With a pretty face, or a couple love handles. So let's just do this. Love y'all. I'll see you this weekend. I'll make a video, and hope you enjoyed the story. Toodles.